Venture capitalists are a very demanding group of investors. They've been, I mean, it's their profession, it's what they do, right? They don't give money to people that they don't think they're going to get a return on their investment from. So VCs, as a statistical group, are already very demanding. But if you look at the statistics of success for VC-funded companies, first-time entrepreneurs have a 17% chance of success. And it might be encouraging to you to know that if you have been an entrepreneur and you have failed, you actually have a better chance of being successful in your second venture than a person who was starting out in their very first venture. So those who have failed once have a 20% chance of success. And entrepreneurs who have previously been successful have a 30% chance of success. So VCs are all about investing in management teams. And what they're looking for is not necessarily an idea. It's the people that can take the idea and make it successful. The one thing that, if I could give advice to aspiring entrepreneurs that I think engineers need to spend more time on, it is understanding business models. And it doesn't mean that you have to go get an MBA. It doesn't mean that you have to spend a lot of time in the business school. It really can be very simple. And I break it down into two terms. You know, can you make more money from a customer than it cost you to acquire that customer? And I want to introduce two terms to you. One is the cost of acquiring a customer. So whatever money you spend in sales and marketing to get a customer interested in your product, that goes under CAC. And then I want to talk about the long-term value of that customer. That's how much revenue can you derive from that customer over the life of that customer. And the real bulk of this talk is about this, because this is turning into science, and business models are being disrupted, and so much energy can be applied here that can allow you to be successful, because it's a very exciting time to be starting new companies. If you look around, traditional business models are just falling apart. And it can be evidenced by traditional magazines going online. Joel and I were talking about an app just 10 minutes ago on the iPad called Zenio. Allows you to see all your magazines on the iPad. E-commerce. How many of you haven't bought something online? Traditional software development methodologies, where a company funds a group of developers to build software and then you sell it as proprietary software, is being disrupted by open source development models. It's being disrupted by software as a service, where the software is provided to you through the cloud. The newspaper industry is just in disarray, because the way the newspapers paid for themselves in the past, their revenue sources were ads from advertisers and ads for employment. And today, employment ads have all moved online. If you're getting into the job force soon, you'll no doubt be tracking what's happening at monster.com. If you don't know about the Ladders, it is another employment site. It's a for-pay site, but the fact that it is a for-pay site, employers look at it much more seriously, because the people who are out there are much more serious in terms of candidates for employment. Paper ads in newspapers are just going away in favor of banner ads on websites. How many of you want to learn about any topic and don't go to the web to learn about that today? And you know, just not long ago, 5 years ago, my wife drove around with the Yellow Pages in her car. And you know, she would whip out her cell phone and look up a store she wanted to go to and call it. Well, the Yellow Pages are going away. It's going away in favor of an online alternative to that. And the common theme between all of this business model disruption is the internet. The internet has created such a disruption opportunity that is disruptive to traditional business models, that it's done something very cool. It has shifted the advantage for entrepreneurs to the technical group in the world. So if you're an engineer, you are probably in a better position to understand how to disrupt a traditional business model if it can be done by using technology and the internet. And what that has allowed is just this growth in entrepreneurialism within engineering and technical communities. So the thing then is to prepare this group of people to be better business managers because you've already got the technical skill that might allow you to go out and completely disrupt an existing business. However, back to the basic problem, there's something that will just absolutely kill a startup. And the thing that will kill a startup is a out of balance business model. So if it costs you more money to attract a customer than you can ever get from that customer, you have a bad business model. And I don't care how many customers you get, you are going to go out of business. So your mission should be not to be optimistic about how great your invention is, but to seek to build a properly well-balanced business model. And in that model, it just says it costs you less money to go get a customer than you can get from that customer over the life of that customer. And to me, that's just very simple math. It doesn't take business school to understand that. However, because all venture capitalists probably went to business school, they have applied all sorts of criteria around this to determine what they're willing to invest and what they're not willing to invest in. So for any of you who ever are interested in building a company, if you are independently wealthy, then you've probably got it made, because you can take your money and you can go build a company, and if you do a great job of it, that's wonderful, and if you don't do a good job of it, then it's your money that you just wasted. However, most of us were never in that position, particularly not coming out of college. So if you want to start a company, in general, you're going to need money to be able to do that. And venture capitalists or angel investors or friends or wherever that money might come from are now investors in your company, and they have expectations. And the expectations are that they gave you money because you're going to give them more back. And if you don't, it will make them very unhappy. So venture capitalists have constructed general principles about what they want to see in terms of acquiring customers and the long-term value of those customers. If you can't get 3 times the amount of money from a customer that it costs you to acquire that customer, venture capitalists are not going to give you any money. And if you can't get at least 1 time the amount of money it took you to acquire that customer in 1 year, they're not going to give you any money. And they're never going to tell you this, but you're going to write the most beautiful business plan in the world, and it's going to have all kinds of beautiful graphics in it, and you're going to give it to them, and they're going to say to themselves, can this business get 3 times CAC in terms of LTV, and can they get 1 times CAC in a year? And if the answer to that is no, they're going to say, you got a beautiful looking business plan, but we're going to pass on this investment. And they're never going to tell you why. But this is why. So it's